episode 2 of my training running vlog as I'm preparing to race 100-mile ultra marathon on average every month for the third year in a row. Hi, Simon here. Welcome to my training vlog, episode 2. Thank you all for the comments and the suggestion on the last episode. As you know, this is a work in progress. I'm working on the format and I'm going to adapt in the future to reflect your feedback and produce something that is helpful. On my channel, you'll see a mix of my adventure racing ultramarathon, training tips to get into ultra running yourself, and this training vlog. And the goal of this training vlog is simply to be transparent about the difference between what a perfect training plan looks like and what reality looks like. And reality isn't perfect, but it's enough to be racing ultra marathons, so you shouldn't feel bad if your training is not perfect. This is the second entry to my training vlog, and today we have a very exciting program because this is the last 2 weeks before racing Zion Ultra Marathon. And that includes 1 full week of training that I'm very happy about, 1 week of taper, and at the end of the episode, I'm going to give a little update as to how Zion Ultra Marathon 100 mile went. As you can see, we're on the road, so I'm recording most of the episode before the race, and then I'll do a little update immediately after the race. One snippet of information that I think is actually quite interesting is that in my last how-to video, I discussed about recovery, and you can really see how good the audio is in that episode because there's something that made it in the movie which I didn't think one could hear, but apparently the audio is absolutely fantastic. I'm very excited about Zion Ultramarathon this weekend. It's such a great race. I've raced it in the past. This will be my 4th time. It's one of my favorite races. In fact, if you haven't seen it, I have a list of my favorite race, and this was number 2, and it was a strong contender for first place. So Zion Ultra and Ure 100, 2 fantastic races, 2 very different races. And Zion is great because it's a beautiful course, it's a great adventure, but also, I don't know why, but every time I race it, I meet so many fantastic people. And for me, this connection with other people is really important. And something that I realize now already that I'm doing the second episode of my training vlog is that a training vlog is very personal. I've mentioned it in the past, I'm not a professional runner. I have other priority in my life. Work is more important. Spending time with my wife is more important. So running is just a hobby. I will not change my life to accommodate my training plan. So I think it's a format that is very personal, and something that I haven't done so much in the past is, as you know, I always read all of your comments and I really appreciate it. Sometimes it's questions, I take the time to answer them. Sometimes it's encouraging words or just saying thank you. And I really appreciate that. And I take the time to respond to that and to engage with you. But I think it might be worth bringing some in the training vlog. And that's something that the idea actually comes from another training vlog that I think you should really have a look. Westplate. Westplate is an ultra runner and he's the king of the 200 miles. So I'm watching his stuff non-stop right now as I'm preparing myself for Cocodona, and Wes has a training vlog that is really interesting, and he takes the time to answer questions from viewers. So I don't know if I'll necessarily do that, but of course if you have questions, please write them down, but I'm not trying to copy here. But there was a comment this week that I really want to bring up because it really resonated with me, especially with Zion coming up and Zion being one of my favorite races. And it's a comment from Kim. I'm not gonna read it and butcher it, so you can read it on the screen. And the reason it resonated so much with me is that that's so true. For me, racing is this festival. It's meeting people, it's having fun. And of course, racing is not always easy. And an ultra marathon, you will struggle for sure. And you will ask yourself, should I quit? That's absolutely normal. But it's every workout, every effort that you've put, every sacrifice that you've put in the months leading up to a race were for that day. And that day is very special. So thank you for your comments. I really encourage people to write comments, ask questions. I'll try to engage either in the comments, but maybe in the future, I'll try to bring it along in the training vlog, especially when it's something that speaks to me. All right, but let's dive right in. Last time I said I wouldn't blah blah too much, and here I go, I blah blah a lot. I'm sorry about that, but let's go into week 4 of my training vlogs. And I think context is important here. So this week was the 3rd week of a training block. And finally, I was fully rested. The week before that, I had a decent week of working out, but not quite exactly what I was looking for. And this now was the last week that I could really put on mileage ahead of a lot of race coming up. So it was an important week for me. So I really tried to include all of the elements, not just the mileage, but all of the elements that are important in the training block, which starts with Monday. And Monday was a rest day. Now, rest day doesn't mean that you're sleeping on the couch and not doing anything. For me, it will be lower mileage, sometimes 0 mileage. So Monday, I went for a small walk, 2-mile walk, just to relax a little bit and get moving a little bit. And I also did a short shakeout run, just a 4-mile run at a very easy pace, just to keep moving. But this isn't really working out. It's just to activate my body. Then I did a sauna session. As you know, I'm heat adapting, but I also think that sauna is a good way to relax your muscles. So really, Monday was relaxing, and I think that's an important element in your training plan, is to have recovery. I actually just posted a video about this, but also what I'm gonna do after Zion Ultra is I'm gonna do a play-by-play of what my body goes through, 1 minute after finishing the race, 15 minutes, 1 hour, 1 day, several days, so that you know what your body will go through and also what you should be doing so that you're ready to go as soon as possible. Tuesday was the first day of real workout. I did a hill training workout. This is my 10-mile run where it's a steady climb for 5 miles and I come back down. It's not the most exciting scenery, but it's a good workout, and I kind of really pushed the pace on the uphill for that one. So I'm actually quite happy with the level of intensity that I put in those miles. I also had a 2-mile walk. This really doesn't count. I just tracked it on Strava, but on Wednesday was another great day of workout. I did an interval session. It was a 9 times 2 minutes at 6:40. So 6:40 for me is a pretty fast pace, but that's something I can hold for 2 minutes and for 9 repetitions. So it's not necessarily a balls to the wall kind of pace, but it's pretty fast. And that was a pretty good workout. I also had later, I went to the gym and I just had a shakeout run, a 2-mile, just to get loose. I think after a very high intensity workout like that, of course I had a cool down, but I just felt like having some slow mileage. It's almost like junk mile, honestly, those 2 miles, but I felt good about moving a little bit and having a little bit of mileage on my feet. Then I did a little sauna session, 40 minutes. Again, it's both relaxing my muscle, but also heat adapting. On Thursday was a semi-rest day, so I went for a run with Nora, just a 6-mile run at a slow pace. That's a great way to catch up and have time together. But something that I would add, and I said it last episode, is that if it's not on Strava, it didn't happen. And something that I realize now is not on Strava is that I did have a strength session. Please believe me, I absolutely did. And I just don't remember if it was Tuesday or Thursday. And based on the fact that I had a 6-mile run only on Thursday, I think my strength session was on that day. And it was just a 30-minute session with some weight. If you're curious about the exercise that I typically do, I posted a video recently about these exercises. I don't remember the specific exercise that I did, but typically for me, it will be squat, it will be lunge, calf raise, steps, and a little bit of core, but with some weight. It was a good workout, but as opposed to, I think it was the week before that where I kind of pushed a little too hard, this was well balanced, so I was not totally wrecked afterwards. I was feeling fine the next day to work out decently. In fact, I was feeling so great on Friday that I was able to have a tempo run. It was a 5-mile run at 7:10. 7:10 for me is a pace that I haven't raced a half marathon in a very long time, but that would probably be my pace for a half marathon. I don't think I can hold that for a marathon, but definitely for 5 miles, I could have gone further than that. But it's still a pretty good workout. I was pretty toasted after that. Then at the end of the day, thank God it's Friday, I actually had a little bit free time, so I added another run that was at a slower pace. I think it was an 8:30 pace for 7 mile. So still a pretty decent run, but nothing too crazy in terms of speed. But that made for a pretty productive Friday in terms of mileage, but also having the speed. And then it was Friday, so we hopped in the car with Nora, and then we drove until pretty late that night so that we would be in the area of the Zion race for the weekend, because we want to spend some time on trail and just, having an adventure together. Saturday, Sunday, we did back-to-back long runs. I was also testing new gear. So I tested my new Hoka Speed Goat. You should never run a 100-mile or any race really with new gear. And these shoes are brand new for me. I've never tried them, but I was very excited to try them for Zion Ultra. And I'm gonna do a review about that. I'm gonna, for lack of better word, test the out of them and let you know if I appreciate the Hoka Speed Goat for 100 mile, but I wanted to try them on trail before, and those back-to-back long runs was the perfect opportunity. And I think it's always good if you're able to be in the area before the race to go and see the course. Now for Zion itself, I've raced it 3 times already. I even have a course preview video. If you're ever racing Zion Ultra any distance, I suggest you have a look because I go through every segment and I provide tips as to what you should bring and what you should expect in terms of difficulty. So I know the course, but if you don't know the course, it's good to be there and to actually see for yourself what to expect, because then you can make better decision, more informed decision about the gear that you should have and what would be your expected pace. Sometimes seeing the trail is helpful to say, whoa, this is way more technical than I expected, and you revise your pace chart accordingly. Anyhow, Nora and I, we did basically like 26 or 27 miles in total with a fair amount of elevation.
Almost done for the run. About 26 miles over the weekend. That was really cool to run with Nora.
And that week of training, I'm actually very happy with that training week. First, I reached my mileage, 70 miles. That's kind of my 60 to 70 is the range that I'm aiming for. But I also had reached that the week before that. But I think the big difference between these 2 weeks, the total mileage is very similar. So from outside, if you look at it, it might seem like, well, it's kind of the same, Simon, but it's very different because there's other aspects, other quality and attributes that are very important. And this last week had everything that was important. I had 1 or 2 days of rest, depending when the strength training session was, which honestly, I don't remember. Obviously, having a rest day will reduce your mileage. So the fact that I was still able to achieve the 70 means that I was able to put mileage on other days. Also, I had a fair amount of elevation gain. I had quite a few sauna sessions. I had a strength session. I had an interval session. I had a tempo session. All of these elements are very important and it's easy to skip them. I think if I had to criticize anything, it would be that my back-to-back long run, I had a lot of hours on my feet, but not necessarily a lot of mileage. So I could have increased that a little bit, which now brings us into the taper week. And a taper week, you're not trying to gain fitness anymore. What you're trying to do is get your body in the best position possible to race. And that means a lot of rest. That means eating properly. In terms of mileage or these sorts of things, maybe it's nerve, maybe it's mental, but I feel it's important to still keep moving. But it won't be hard mileage, so definitely no interval session, no speed session, no back-to-back long run. It's gonna be slow miles, low mileage, and just to keep loose a little bit. It's just being jittery, I think, mostly, but I feel it's important for me. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I went even just for a short walk, 2 miles walk, and I made sure to sleep sufficiently, eat properly. Then I still had some run on Wednesday and Thursday, had a 6-mile run and a 5-mile run, I think, just to keep loose. And I want to be sure that my body is healthy and ready to go. Because the race is tomorrow morning now, which is very exciting. Of course, when I'm posting this movie, the race has happened, so you know more about how it went than I do. But I can make some prediction, and I think my week of taper was actually pretty good. How I feel about the race, mostly excited. Like Kim said, this is a celebration. I can't wait to meet everyone that weekend. I can't wait to have that adventure. So very excited.
And that's it. Zion Ultramarathon 100-mile in the book. That was a hard fight, especially in the middle of the race for me, especially when I learned about my drop bag and my knee was painful. I was pretty negative. I was in the dark, I was in pain, but I kept pushing and we found solution. I think that's a great lesson for ultra running, is that things won't always go according to plan, but you need to find a solution. You need to find the finish line. But yeah, that's it. Down ultramarathon, brand new buckle. I need to find some room for it in the background. How about this? And now in the future, of course, all of these were hard-earned, but as we go along with the channel, we'll be able to fill these shelves with brand new buckle. I'm feeling pretty sore, but the race is pretty fresh and I wanted to share how it went. The race did not go as well as I would have hoped, which I think is something that we almost always say when it comes to ultra running. But overall, even if things didn't go as well as I would have hoped, I'm pretty happy with the race. I'm happy that I found ways to push past the challenges physically, because we're talking training, right? I feel I was well prepared for the race, except for the flaring up in the knee. I was pretty strong all day. The heat definitely did a number on me, but that's true for everyone at the race. So if anything, I think I coped decently well with the heat. And as soon as the night came, that was so much better. I can't wait to share it with you all. It was amazing to meet so many people out there watching my videos, saying that they're helpful. That means a lot to me, that you take the time to say hi in person. It's always nice to talk with people and meet new people, either on the course or at the check-in. It means a lot that these videos are helpful. As you know, I do it for fun. I put my heart into that. I put my personality into that. I can't take myself too seriously. Finally, what's in the work also is I'm going to post a video next week about what my body goes through during a race, but mostly after a race and how I'm recuperating. Right now, as a sneak preview, I'm in a phase that I would call the smoking penguin, and the stairs are my worst enemy. As always, thanks for watching. Please leave a thumbs up if you appreciate. In the comments below, did we meet at Zion? How was your day out there? Also, what do you think about the format? I'm working on it a little bit. Now it's just 2 weeks, so it's a little shorter. I'll try in the future to include more clips of me actually working out sometimes. But the truth is, especially for the next week, walking in my neighborhood is not the most exciting. Finally, a little surprise. I'm most probably going to be running Fuji in 2 weeks, so that's very exciting, but I'm also very nervous because there's not so much time to heal from that, and then Cocodona is coming very soon. So a big few weeks of adventure coming along.